The season has come to a close and now Celtic will be getting busy for the transfer window ahead. In today's video, however, we are going to discuss the huge Champions League boost we have received. But first, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Ross Duhan is on the brink of a return to Celtic, with the goalkeeper expected to rejoin the club on a free transfer following his departure from Aberdeen. Duhan, 27, is set to take up the third-choice goalkeeper slot in Brendan Rodgers' squad, replacing Scott Bain, who appears to be heading for the exit after 6 seasons at the club. The move marks a homecoming for Duhan, who came through the youth ranks at Celtic before leaving in 2022. Since his departure, Duhan has had stints at Tranmere Rovers and Forest Green Rovers before moving north to Aberdeen in 2023. However, his time at Pittodrie has been short-lived and he now looks set to return to the club where he began his professional career. The goalkeeping department at Celtic is clear for now. Kasper Schmeichel, wearing the number 1 shirt, has established himself as the first-choice stopper. Behind him, Finnish international Viljami Sinisalo has been providing backup and is tipped to push Schmeichel for the starting spot next season. Duhan's arrival would complete the trio, offering depth without blocking Sinisalo's development or challenging the pecking order unnecessarily. The signing is also a move to fill the homegrown status quota for the European squad. Duhan's return may not grab the headlines, but his familiarity with the club's demands and expectations could prove valuable in a backup role. It also maintains a pathway for academy-developed talent to feature in the senior squad setup. Scott Bain's anticipated departure signals the end of an era. Having joined from Dundee in 2018, Bain made over 70 appearances for the Hoops and featured in numerous trophy-winning squads. While he served as a dependable backup during his time, the club are clearly opting to finally let him go. Now for the main story, as Celtic have received a timely lift ahead of the 2025-2026 Champions League campaign, with confirmation they're now in line to be seeded in the playoff round thanks to a late twist in the Croatian title race. Rijeka clinched the title on the final day, edging out Dinamo despite their own victory, and in doing so shifted the continental qualifying picture in Celtic's favour. For the Scottish champions, this means a major hurdle has been removed in their quest for a smoother passage into the group stages. Dinamo had been one of the key threats to Celtic's seeding status, boasting a higher coefficient and regular European experience. With Dinamo no longer expected to feature in the Champions League qualifiers, Celtic move up the seeding ladder for the playoff round. It's a development that could play a crucial role in determining the quality of opposition Brendan Rodgers' side face in what's always a nervy route to Europe's top table. They'll avoid the likes of Bodo Glimt, Copenhagen and Red Star Belgrade. The club has been monitoring league outcomes across the continent in recent weeks, with several moving parts still to be settled. But this news from Croatia stands out as one of the most significant breaks yet. While the final list of qualifiers and seedings is still being shaped, the outlook for Celtic is undoubtedly brighter. Avoiding an early clash with a dangerous unseeded outfit now looks far more likely. It's another small but meaningful step toward the Champions League, and one that fans will welcome as pre-season planning begins to take shape. In other news, Kieran Tierney has taken to Instagram to mark the end of his Arsenal journey, posting a heartfelt image and message after playing his final match for the club. The left-back, who is set to rejoin Celtic this summer, signed off with the simple but emotional caption, "One for the road." The post came after Tierney featured in Arsenal's 2-1 win over relegated Southampton on the final day of the Premier League season. With second place already secured, Mikel Arteta handed the 27-year-old a rare start. He didn't waste it, getting himself on the score sheet in a moment that delighted both him and the travelling support. The image he shared shows him celebrating with teammates, one last moment in red before his return to green and white. It's the end of a 5-year spell in North London that began when he moved from Celtic in a £25 million deal back in 2019. Tierney's time at Arsenal brought highs and lows, injuries disrupted his rhythm, and competition for places limited his appearances in recent seasons. But he remained a respected figure in the dressing room and among fans. His final act, finding the net against Southampton, was a fitting farewell. Now, Celtic supporters are counting down the days until they see one of their own back at Parkhead. Tierney returns at the peak of his powers with top-level experience under his belt. From a record-breaking sale to a free homecoming, the story has come full circle. Kieran Tierney is coming home, and not a moment too soon. In other news, Moritz made a surprise appearance at Genoa's final Serie A match of the season to support his close friend and former Celtic teammate Ben Seagris. The German defender, who played under Ange Postecoglou during a brief loan stint at Celtic, was pictured alongside his partner and Seagris' wife in the stands cheering on the Swiss goalkeeper. Though neither Jens nor Seagris had extended stays at Celtic, their time in Glasgow forged a strong bond that has clearly lasted beyond the football pitch. Jens featured in the first half of the 2022 to 2023 campaign, arriving on loan from Lorient. Despite a promising start and flashes of quality at the back, he found himself edged out of the side and gone by January. Seagris, meanwhile, joined Celtic from Dundee United in 2022 to provide competition for Joe Hart. Game time was scarce, but he was a popular figure around Lennoxtown and in the dressing room, with his professionalism and experience earning respect despite his limited appearances. After the final whistle, the four were reunited, posing for a celebratory photo that later appeared on Instagram. It's nice to see the Celtic connection between the two couples. Lastly, Celtic are assessing their options at left-back as they await final decisions on the futures of Greg Taylor and Jeffrey Schlupp. Reports say the club have held discussions over a potential permanent deal, but the direction of their summer recruitment will depend heavily on what happens with the current pair. Greg Taylor has been offered a new contract. However, it's understood the club have left the decision up to the player, who looks to be looking for a fresh challenge. There were suggestions Taylor may have played his final match in green and white after the Scottish Cup final loss at Hampden on Saturday, where he looked visibly emotional walking around the stadium. Meanwhile, Jeffrey Schlupp, who joined on loan from Crystal Palace in January, is another under the microscope. Celtic have reportedly opened talks about extending his stay, with his contract at Palace also expiring this summer. Schlupp's versatility and experience could be an asset, but his performances have not consistently impressed. The arrival of Kieran Tierney on a free transfer from Arsenal adds another layer to the situation. Tierney, a former fans' favourite and Scotland international, would likely slot straight into the starting role, meaning any left-back retained or signed would need to share minutes or accept a supporting role. Celtic fans remain far from convinced by Schlupp. He did shine against Bayern in the Allianz, but for the most part has looked lost domestically when called upon. Taylor, on the other hand, seemed like a man saying his goodbyes after Hampden. If Tierney is indeed set for a Parkhead return, many supporters might prefer a fresh face in the left-back department rather than gambling on Schlupp or holding onto a player whose heart may already be elsewhere. What are your thoughts on these? Let us know down in the comment section below. Make sure you've liked this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content.